Fort Lauderdale is known as the yachting capital of the world, and it's also nicknamed the Venice of America due to the 300 miles of inland waterways that we have. So naturally, living on the water and boating is a huge part of life here in Fort Lauderdale. But this begs the question, what are some of the best waterfront communities in Fort Lauderdale? There's gotta be a ton of different options, right? Don't worry, I got you guys. In this video, we're gonna talk about the 5 best waterfront communities in all of Fort Lauderdale. And if you stick around to the end, we're also gonna talk about a waterfront community that's not top 5 yet, but it's on its way. It's got deep water access, no fixed bridges, and you have a great walkability to everything downtown, restaurants, shopping, pretty much everything and anything you could want to do. But before we jump into it, all I ask is that you hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps us out, especially if you want to know everything there is to know about Fort Lauderdale and South Florida in general. And if you or anyone you know are looking to buy or sell here in Fort Lauderdale or South Florida in general, we'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can call us, email, text us, DM us, whatever's easiest for you. But now let's talk about the best waterfront communities here in Fort Lauderdale. So we're not going in any particular order, but first up we have the neighborhood of Rio Vista. And honestly, what I think makes Rio Vista probably one of the better waterfront communities has to be the location. So as we zoom out here a little bit, you'll see you're just south of downtown Fort Lauderdale. So pretty much all your arts and entertainment are here. You also have Las Olas Boulevard, where all your restaurants and nightlife is. And then you also have the true downtown area as well, obviously. But within the neighborhood of Rio Vista, it is a very tight-knit community. You'll see a ton of people out walking in the evenings and even in the mornings, whether they're also riding bikes. And a nice thing about it, and what is really cool, is everyone, it seems like, has a golf cart. So you'll see people picking up their kids from school via golf cart, or just going around the neighborhood, because they do have a park within the neighborhood, Virginia Young Park, which is really nice. And you'll see people out there, especially in the late evenings, because it's just too damn hot right now. On top of that, you do have great access to 95 and 595. So right off of Federal, you can jump right on the junction of 595 to get to 95 and or the Turnpike if you want to head a little bit further west. Now going back to Rio Vista, you also have great access here on the water. You're pretty much right there on the intercoastal, and this is a sandbar right here that people go and hang out at the weekends. If you can't anchor out there and it's too busy, you can head here a little bit further south, right near the Fort Lauderdale Yacht Club. So that's also pretty much a part of Rio Vista. It's not technically a part of it, but it's right there. On top of that, you do have great access to Publix. So right across the street here on 17th Street is this Publix shopping center. And there's even an LA Fitness in there as well if you don't have a home gym. Now let's say you're not keeping your boat in your backyard if you live on the water, or you live in Rio Vista but not on the water. There is a couple of different marinas up and down 17th Street, like this is the F3 Marina. There's also the 15th Street boat ramp, and there's also the new and almost finished Pier 66 Marina and residences as well. Now back to Rio Vista itself. When it comes to the home prices here in Rio Vista, your median sales price to live on the water is between about $3 million to $6 million. Next up on the list, we have Coral Ridge. So Coral Ridge has 2 parts to it. So you do have like the Coral Ridge Country Club area here in Fort Lauderdale, and then you also have everything south of Oakland, pretty much up until the mall. So a lot of these homes are on the water, as you can see, not all of them. And you do have quite a bit of homes to choose from. So you do have homes on the golf course, which are really nice. You also have Cardinal Gibbons, which is pretty much smack dab in the middle of the neighborhood. And Cardinal Gibbons is a private high school. Now, one thing that a lot of people think about, oh, Coral Ridge Country Club, it's gonna be, like that of Boca. I'm gonna have to pay $100,000 for a membership on top of everything else. That's not the case here in Coral Ridge. Coral Ridge is an optional membership. You don't have to join if you don't want to. You can join just the social club if you want to. You can join the golf if you want to, and you can join both, which is really nice. So as you can see, most of these homes here on these little peninsulas are all on the water, and they are some massive homes like this one. As we zoom in here on 37th Street, this home is the entire cul-de-sac. It's absolutely nuts. My buddy lives across the street from it. It's crazy. But most of these homes here on the water do range from about $2 million to $4 million. So not as expensive as Rio, but they are right up there. Now, when it comes to things to do and shopping and dining options nearby, so right here, you do have the Coral Ridge Mall. Now, granted, it's not a mall by any means, but there's plenty of different options within it. You have a Target, a Publix. Across the street, you have an ABC Liquor. You also have a PDQ. If you don't know what a PDQ is, it's probably like, very comparable to Chick-fil-A, but I wouldn't say it's as good as Chick-fil-A. You also have great access to different restaurants. So there is a Bahama Breeze over here. If you work your way down, there's an LA Fitness and even a Planet Fitness, some furniture stores. There's also a Jack's Hamburgers. So Jack's Hamburgers is famous here in the Fort Lauderdale and Pompano area. And then obviously if you're looking for something a little bit different, you can head down Oakland, head to the beach. And then there's also some restaurants over on the beach as well. And you're probably thinking, restaurants on the beach in like the Gulf Mile area, obviously are a little bit touristy. You'd be surprised. So there is a place called Twice Removed here on the corner, which was voted as one of the best date nights in Fort Lauderdale, one of the best happy hours, and some of the best cocktails. And it's actually really good. Definitely a spot you gotta go and check out. It's also a good barbecue restaurant over here as well, and then a couple little hole-in-the-wall places as well. And if you're looking for date night and you're looking for Italian food, you have to go and check out Cafe Martirano right here on Oakland and A1A. Next up, we have the Las Olas Isles area. So this is pretty much all these homes right here off of Las Olas. And as you can see, a good majority, I'd say about 99% of them are on the water, which is really nice. And there's a good mixture of, there's a couple condos, some townhomes, but mostly single family homes, especially on the south side of Las Olas. Here on the north side, these are more of your condos and townhomes, and they're not small by any means either. Most of them are about 1,500 to about 2,100 square feet, give or take. In terms of the median sales price for Las Olas Isles, it is one of the more expensive neighborhoods that we are looking at today, between $4 million to $8 million to live on the water here, but you're really paying for the location at the end of the day. So let's take a look at that. So obviously you're right here in Las Olas, so we'll start a little bit east. So you are right there at Las Olas Oceanside Park. So right here, that's the beach. You have all the access to everything, which is really, really nice. You have elbow room on the corner. You have Blondies, you know, as you work your way down, pretty much all your touristy trap bars. But elbow room is a South Florida and Fort Lauderdale staple. I wouldn't call that a tourist trap. It's pretty much a dive bar. You do have to bring cash, so if you're going, make sure you remember that. But then you can kind of work your way down to Beach Place and things like that. But you really have great access to the beach in Fort Lauderdale Beach if you live in Las Olas Isles. Plus, you also live on the water. You can take your boat out. So you can take your pick, whether you want to go to the beach that day, you want to go in the boat, or you just want to hang out in the pool and watch all the boats go by. Because like I said before, when we talk about Rio, this is that sandbar right there. So you can just, you know, hey, is it busy? Nah, okay, maybe I'm gonna head to the beach, maybe I'm gonna hang out in the pool. Then, maybe that's not your thing. You could also head down Las Olas that day, or pretty much any day, and hang out on Las Olas, go grab a bite to eat, go to brunch, you know, maybe go enjoy some nightlife. You know, there's plenty of different options for you. And when you do head down Las Olas, you know, obviously you gotta check out Louis Bossi. I also like El Camino, which is a Mexican restaurant, and there's even American Social, the Palm Room, and you know, it wouldn't be complete without the Cheesecake Factory. Go and grab, you know, a nice slice of cheesecake. Then you could also head downtown. I will say, very similar to that of Rio Vista, a lot of people who live in Las Olas Isles also have golf carts, make it very easy to get around. Okay, next up we have the landings. So the landings are right here, as you can see. So this south of Commercial was the Coral Ridge Country Club neighborhood that we were talking about. And then north of Commercial on Bayview, we have the landings. So one of the nice things about the landings is it is both east and west of Bayview. But one thing to keep in mind with this is there are fixed bridges. So most of the neighborhood, actually all the neighborhoods that we've talked about so far don't have any fixed bridges. This is the first community that we talked about that does have it. So prices in the landings do range from about 1.5 to 3.5 million to live on the water. But when you're west of Bayview, the prices are a little bit closer to that $1.5 million range. But if you have a boat with a fly bridge or even a T-top that's like a 9-foot clearance, you're not gonna be able to get that boat in over here. So you're gonna have to live east of Bayview, which isn't a bad thing. You're just paying a little bit more for not having any fixed bridges. Now, when it comes to the location, it's clutch because you're right there in the north end of Fort Lauderdale. So you can enjoy everything that Fort Lauderdale has to offer, or you can head a little bit further north and enjoy everything that Pompano has to offer as well. Now, in terms of nearby points of interest, things like that, you do have plenty of great shopping centers. You have shopping, dining, your grocery stores. So there's a Publix in this shopping center. You have a Walmart neighborhood market here. You have plenty of different food options. There's also a yoga joint down here, right off of Federal. You have Black Rock in this shopping center. There's also a restaurant called L'Arb-Tasian, which has been, you know, off the chain recently. People have absolutely loved it. Then as we head a little bit further south back to Commercial, I'll tell you where a lot of people actually decide to go and end up hanging out. And that's Lauderdale by the Sea, right off of Commercial. So as you can see, you come out of the landings, make a left onto Commercial, head all the way down, and then this is the downtown area of Lauderdale by the Sea. So the best way to describe Lauderdale by the Sea is pretty much like South Florida's best small town. There's no high rises here. It's part of the building ordinances, which is really cool. But plenty of great restaurants, bars. ice cream stores. There's even a little pet store here as well. So if you want to grab a bite to eat, date night, you just want to hang out, get out of the house, head down to the beach, Lauderdale by the Sea is definitely a spot for people who live in the Landings, and honestly, people who live anywhere in Fort Lauderdale. And last but definitely not least, it's not technically a Fort Lauderdale neighborhood, but we're going to include it, and that's the Garden Isles neighborhood here in Pompano. So it's pretty much on the border of Fort Lauderdale. It's on the southern end of Pompano. So, you know, McNabb is pretty much the cutoff point between Fort Lauderdale and Pompano. It's literally right there. And what I really like about the Garden Isles neighborhood is you do have a mix of homes on the water. For the most part, about 75 to 80% of them, probably even closer to 90% of them are on the water. And then you do have some homes tucked away in here that aren't on the water as well. But the nicest thing about it is the price point. Your price point, your median is about $1 million to $2.5 million to live on the water. You know, a little bit better than some of the other 4 neighborhoods that we've looked at in Fort Lauderdale on the water. There is one trade-off though. There is a fixed bridge. So this bridge right here on Federal is a fixed bridge. On average, I would say the clearance is about a 9-foot clearance. So you can have a boat with the T-top, but you just can't have a boat with a fly bridge back here. But plenty of different options where you have some tear downs, you have some houses that need to be gutted. A lot of homes have actually been completely redone, which is really nice as well. So you get kind of a little bit of a mix of everything, and you can put your own spin on it too, you know, do what you want to do. Now, when it comes to the location, like we talked about before, you're right there on the border of Fort Lauderdale, which is really nice. But you're also not too far from Pompano Beach Pier and Fishing Village up here off of Atlantic and A1A. This has been completely redone and it's out of this world. You know, it's a great place to go and hang out now. You know, I remember growing up for a long time, a lot of people went to Pompano Beach. There just wasn't anything to do there. And now that they've redone all this, you know, everyone and their mom wants to go. There's a little coffee shop, there's a hotel, you know, they have a great couple different restaurants like Boresco, Oceanic, and Beach House. And then obviously you can go fishing on the pier. And fun fact, look, the end of the pier actually looks like a fish. But back to Garden Isles. Within the neighborhood, there's also a Publix. So right here is the Publix. You can get to it very quickly. There's also a Jack's Hamburgers on the corner. And then you can head down to Federal where a lot of your main shopping is. And you're not too far from 95 either, but you're tucked away where you don't hear any road noise, which is a really nice thing. Okay, you guys stuck around to the end, or you skipped ahead to the end. Either way, you know, you're still at the end of the video. And I promise you guys, I put you guys on one of the next neighborhoods that technically didn't make the top 5 waterfront communities, but it's right there on the way. And that's actually 3 different neighborhoods. That's the Sailboat Bend, Tarpon River, and Riverside Park areas. So all back here, you're probably like, Joe, that's not really on the water. It's not, you know, what I would consider. So there are homes on the water. It's not a majority of them, but there is a good portion of the homes, as you can see here, are on the water. And one of the really nice things about it, and you know, the nickname Sailboat Bend, it's all deep water back here. And there's actually a lot of sailboats. These bridges are not fixed bridges. They actually open up. It's only about, you know, 15 to 20 minutes to the intercoastal, which isn't bad. Plus your price point's not as the same as living in Rio or Las Olas Isles right there. Your median sales price for these 3 neighborhoods is about 800 to 1.5 million. So you could get a house on the water back here, you know, right at $1 million or under $1 million, and you can fix it up, or, you know, it could be move-in ready. You could do what you want, but living on the water right around $1 million, under $1 million in Fort Lauderdale isn't bad. On top of that, you're within walking distance to downtown Fort Lauderdale, Las Olas. You have great activities within the neighborhoods as well. So like Riverside Park you have here. So there's pickleball courts, there's basketball, there's actually a little park, and you have Riverside Market within it. Then in Tarpon River, you have Tarpon River Brewing, which is a ton of fun. There's also a Wells Coffee here as well. And then right here, not a lot of people know about it, is the Fitz, which is a really cool bar. There's also, you know, a couple different gyms here as well. Within the Sailboat Bend neighborhood, you do have the Preserve back here, which is really fun to go and walk through, but you know, it's more of a quieter neighborhood than both Riverside Park and that of Tarpon River. I'm telling you guys though, Tarpon River, Sailboat Bend, and Riverside Park are on the come up. Eventually they're gonna catch up to the prices of these other neighborhoods. But let me know in the comments down below. Did we get it right? Are these the best waterfront communities here in Fort Lauderdale? And if you or anyone you know are looking to buy or sell here in Fort Lauderdale or South Florida in general, we'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can call us, email, text us, DM us, whatever's easiest for you, we got you.